Lewis may have been outwitted by the verbally sharp champion, he is not being out-hit by him.
First 3 rounds have followed the Lewis plan, particularly in the sense that he's throwing the jab with great frequency, averaging 34 jabs per round. He landed 17 out of 34 jabs in round 3. That's a great statistical indicator for Lewis from CompuBox. Harold Letterman, how'd you score the 3 rounds?
Okay, Jim. 3-0, 30-27. Lennox Lewis. Jim, when a guy circles to his right like Lennox is doing, it's an unnatural move for a right-hand fighter. He's doing it beautifully, so that Rock can't hit him with that big right hand. Good ring generalship for Lennox Lewis. Another thing, in all the exchanges, Lennox would get off first, keep Rahman off balance, so Rahman can't get set to punch. Watch this, Lennox is always going to land the first punch.
And perhaps by way of trying to ask his fighter to be even more aggressive, Emanuel Stewart between rounds said to Lennox Lewis, "Lennox, this man can't counterpunch. Go get him."
Yeah, but the one thing that lives in Lennox Lewis' head, that night in Africa.
Yep.
You can't take that away from him.
You know, even his own corner said to him, to Rahman, if he punches, just keep your hands high. They're telling him not to counterpunch.
Boom! Will Rahman get up, or have the tables been turned? Is it reversed? It's over. Lennox Lewis got revenge.
Has captured his revenge, and now it's Rahman complaining in the corner that he didn't get the full count. Lennox Lewis fought a virtually perfect fight.
Emanuel Stewart asked him to attack. He did, and he got the result they were looking for. George, what did you think of the stoppage?
You know what happened? Lennox Lewis let an ordinary fighter beat him in Africa. He came back and made the ordinary fighter look like an ordinary fighter. I think the stoppage was right on time. The guy got caught with a hard shot. Very few fellas can get up from him. He got up, went down. Cortez the best.
In the trial in which Rahman was forced to take this rematch, Emanuel Stewart testified that you have to make it immediate because our fighter Lennox Lewis is getting older. Lennox Lewis just made him a perjurer.
I love it. Larry's talking about age in the opposite direction. He's been converted.
That may turn out to be Lennox Lewis's most respected performance ever in the ring.
Isn't that something? Beautiful stuff.
This is what some of his supporters thought he could have done to Holyfield if he had decided to be more aggressive. Rahman totally out of position after the left, and the right hand was good night.
He did it by long range. That's most importantly. He didn't try to close in. Everything was out in the opening. That's the way you want to fight a puncher.
And he set it all up with the left hand by firing aggressively, keeping his left hand in Rahman's face, mixing in the left hook every once in a while with the jab. He changed it up here. Instead of jab and right hand, it was hook and right hand.
And you know what? The old saying, never follow a puncher around.
And Rahman did.
Rahman made the fatal mistake. I'm going to follow you no matter what you jab me or what, I'm going to follow you.
Well, Rahman has spent months saying he had no respect for Lennox Lewis. He went into the ring and showed he had no respect for Lennox Lewis, and he paid the price.
It happened to Lennox Lewis in the same fashion. He had no respect for Rahman, and he tasted canvas.
So now they're even. 5th round knockout for Rahman in South Africa. 4th round knockout for Lewis here, and Lennox regains what he surely believes is his right, the heavyweight championship of the world.
Isn't that something? Cannot believe it. And this all happened because Rahman had no respect. He didn't repeat. Beaten in the chest, he just threw at the head and missed.
And incidentally, to go back to the point you made at the very beginning of the fight, Rahman came into the ring not fully warmed up, and he never really caught up to Lewis's
dry
momentum.
as a bone, and by the time the sweat was there, he's already caught on a bloody eye.
What's that about? I told you they were unknown. You're unknown. What's that about?
All 3 judges had scored the first 3 rounds, all for Lewis, so he was well on his way to the decision victory that most of his supporters thought he'd get. Then he shortened it up. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 29 seconds in round number 4. Our referee in charge, Joe Cortez, reaches the count of 10. The winner by way of knockout. He is now the 3-time heavyweight champion of the world, Lennox Lewis.
Final CompuBox numbers will show you Lewis' advantages in all categories. He landed 24 more punches. He threw 39 more punches. He was brilliantly accurate, connecting with half the punches that he threw. He painted Rahman with power punches, mostly set up by the jab. And in the end, he scored the huge combination, left hook, right cross, and knocked Rahman out. There you have it, total jabs. Lewis threw 111 jabs in just under 4 rounds, and that's the benchmark. When he throws 30 jabs per round, you can't handle him. Rahman could not. Let's go to Larry Merchant with the heavyweight champ, Lennox Lewis.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Lennox. You came into the fight. Your opponent was bone dry. Did you notice anything right from the start?
Well, I seen a little twinkle in his eye, you know. Plus I've been dreaming all week to change his name. Change his name from Has-Been Rahman. His name's Has-Been Rahman now.
How did you turn your anger at him for all of the taunts he's been making at you into a positive?
No, man, no.
Into a positive for you?
I didn't even hear the question.
I'm sorry, Lennox. How did you turn?
Thanks, man.
How did you turn all the anger that you had welling up in you because of the taunting, because of your own lackluster performance in Africa, into this positive?
I just stayed focused. When we were in South Africa, I said that belts were on loan. So he's had his 15 minutes of glory. Now they come back home to me.
Do you acknowledge now that you didn't give your absolute best effort? You didn't take him seriously in Africa?
Well, you know what? I didn't take him serious enough. I was in good shape in Africa, but one punch, he got through with one punch when I was a little not focusing that fight, and he got through with a great punch. We're in the heavyweight business. You can end things in one punch.
Why did you hide out in your dressing room tonight? You seemed like you were just in your own zone, and you just were focused on what was going to happen?
Yeah, I was very focused. I didn't want to get into the hoopla. I was just showing the world that I was focused. They couldn't see too much of me. Even Rahman wanted to come in and see what I was doing. He was nervous, so he was outside my dressing room. I was laughing. Madiba! Yeah, big up South Africa.
The first few rounds,
Winnie,
you describe what you were doing in the first few rounds. Your jab seemed more authoritative than we've ever seen it. You stayed away from his right hand. Was that the plan?
Yeah, just to give him some movement. He couldn't take the movement, and I just showed him a different style. I told you I can switch any style I want to, and this time I just showed him a different style of moving.
All right, let's go now to the
Jamaica,
fourth.
big up.
Let's go to the fourth round and take a look at the knockout. You tell us what you saw. Emmanuel told you in the corner you can be more aggressive. What did you see?
Well, I notice every time I try and reach around him with a hook, he sticks his arms out. And more time, he's watching out for the straight right hand. So I kind of turned it around on him and threw a roundhouse right hand.
Emmanuel Stewart also said to you, look, this man doesn't counterpunch. You can attack him.
Yeah, I took some of the pressure to him. Gave him a lot of things to think about. Kitchener-Waterloo, big up.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What did you say?
I'm just bigging him up, bigging up all these places. Miami, big up.
All right. It was speculated before this fight, and reasonably, that you had been knocked out by this man and that you would be conscious of that in this fight. How did you express that?
Well, I definitely wasn't gun shy. Plus I wanted to knock him out in the fourth round a little quicker than he knocked me out. So, in a sense, I got my up on him.
Do you feel that any of his pre-fight antics from the fight at the ESPN publicity tour to all of the stuff that was going on, helped you in any way?
Yeah, it did. Those things really helped me. You know, I showed a lot of disrespect there, and I just was keeping all these things inside me. I said, okay, you're going to pay fight time, and you know, this is where he paid for it.
Thank you very much. But now talk to us about your future. There are a number of fighters out there who you could fight, whether it's Tyson, Bird, who is a number one ranked fighter. It could be your countryman Kirk Johnson. It could be Vladimir Klitschko. Where do you want to go?
You know, I want Tyson. Definitely want Tyson. You know, I've been waiting for him since after the Holyfield fight, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'll take whoever. You know, Ocean's 11 is coming up, and I was fighting a guy named Magnovich on screen, so that fight may come around. There's Bird out there. There's enough guys out there, but you know, whoever.
How satisfying is this fight for you compared to anything else that's happened in your career?
It's very satisfying for me because, you know, a lot of people had me count out. They said I was too old. They said this may wreck my future. You know, I'm really happy about it. You know, I knew what I wanted to do, what I was going to go out there and do, and I went out and did it.
Thank you very much, Lennox. Congratulations again.
Yeah.
And now Larry Merchant will go across the ring and try to get a word with Hasim Rahman as we take an aerial look at the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, where in the event center Lennox Lewis has regained his heavyweight crown. And now let's go to Larry Merchant with the now former heavyweight champ Hasim Rahman.
Thank you again, Jim. Hasim, you said that you thought he would try to fight you in some different way tonight. What was that way from your perspective?
Well, I thought he was attacking more early than last time, and provided me plenty of opportunity to counter with my own right hand. But I thought he kept his distance good today. But basically, the whole situation is it ain't no dominant champions out here today. Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Hasim Rahman, Evander Holyfield, John Ruiz, any of us could get beaten on any given day. As we keep showing you, it's just a round robin, and it ain't no dominant champions out here. You know, I got to give him respect. He prepared well. He was in shape. He threw a nice, hard right hand. I didn't even see the punch coming. He threw it off the hook, blinded me with the hook, and threw the right hand. It was a good punch. I give him enough credit. He got the title. He's the champ. But ain't nobody got no long title reign who I see.
Was his left jab more important in this fight than it was before? Because he seemed to be landing it with more authority, and you weren't landing yours.
Yeah, I think it was not only his jab, but his distance. He did a good job with his footwork and his distance. He stopped me from landing my jab really well. He was a lot more cautious, and he fought a good fight. He must study the tapes pretty good, and you can't take nothing away from him. But as you know, any of us get hit with a big right hand, it's a lot of punches at the top of this division. It ain't no heavyweight that's going to stand at the top like that right now.
All right, let's take a look at what happened in the fourth round, Rock, and see how that ended in the round before you finished him in South Africa.
He led with the hook, you know, turned my head with the hook, blinded me with the hook, and threw the straight, perfect right hand. You know, with these big, strong guys lifting an enormous amount of weight, look at it, it was a good shot, you know, and I wasn't able to recover. So, you know, that's what happens.
Did that bloody eye bother you at all?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he cut my eye in the first round. It was dripping, but, you know, I had to go on. I didn't even really want to paw at it because, you know, notions to come up that I want to quit or this, that, and other. But I ain't no quitter. I mean, Lennox Lewis been knocked out in the amateurs and the pros. You know, that's just something that happened in boxing. A fighter get knocked out is how they come back. You know, he came back, showed he a true champion. Now it's up to me to come back and see what I can do.
Do you think that all the taunting that you did so successfully against him before the fight helped him at the end of the day?
I don't know. I think it was his preparation. The taunting, I don't think had anything to do either way. He prepared proper. He had a good game plan. He kept my jab away, and he kept his distance.